So, good morning, my dear friends. For the last few classes, we have learned different aspects of groundwater flow, considering the homogeneous, isotropic media to heterogeneous and isotropic media. And in these lectures, we have tried to show you how, in a real time scenario, in rock and rock mass formation, the groundwater flow will take the recourse. Now it is well understood in that background that groundwater flow is a reality, it's a fact, and we can estimate the groundwater flow using the different principles, theory, and law developed in the last century, that is the 20th century. And these equations are basically the empirical equations based on continuum mechanics, considering continuous flow from one place to another place. Thies, Thiem, Laplace, Darcy, uh, many people have contributed in this field, particularly to make make us more understandable about this particular problem. So, in this background, we will study today how this groundwater flow is going to influence our slope stability. It is also understood that the groundwater flow it's a regime. It's a regime. It is basically a steady state flow we are considering, or the flow velocity is very small, very small quantity. When the flow velocity is very small, we can it is a laminar flow. It's a laminar flow. So in this background, all our analysis will be understood. If it is a very velocity is very high, then there will be devastation. We observe if the stream is flowing with a high velocity, what it do? It actually destroyed many things. It carries many things away because of what? Mv square is very high. That the second part of the fluid potential mg plus mv square divided by 2, then p0 p0 minus p divided by rho. This particular thing, the second part is very small in our case for the fluid potential, but the second part is very high for a very high current of flow. If that is occur, then everything will be washed away. That is we are now considering. So, how in this condition, in a steady state condition, how the pore water pressure is going to contribute, we will try to understand. The second question may come, you may ask that we have learned the process, how to draw the flow nets. This flow nets is giving us the idea how much amount of flow will occur from one place to another place, provided there is impermeable layer, there is a dam, that is also an impermeable layer. If I assume how much amount of flow will occur. These are all basically imaginary. I can assume ND is equal to 10, I can assume ND is equal to 8, I can assume NF equal to 3, I can assume NF equal to 5, 6, 7, like that, based on my convenience. So greater the number NF, basically, based on NF, we will try to adjust the ND. What will happen? We will try to understand very in details how much flow pattern it will be. But question may come, why not? This equipotential line we have drawn, why not? We can measure in the field itself to re-verify our this flow net diagram. Is it possible? The answer is yes, it is possible. Yes, it is possible to re-verify the validity of this flow net. That I will show you. And the third, the last, we will discuss today is basically in a given situation. Some of my friend have already raised the dewatering process in a mine, and that is actually happens on daily basis in different mines. How this mechanical dewatering process will itself give us a very precise idea about the characteristics of the aquifer we are dealing with. And in this background, Horsley experiment is to be noted here, and we will try to discuss today what this Horsley experiment is actually. So these are the things we will discuss today, and later we will develop more in the next few weeks. Thank you. Let me share you the screen. So this groundwater flow, the primary effect of groundwater in general terms is basically it is reducing the effective shear resistance of the rock mass. Effective shear resistance of the rock mass. This rock mass involves rock as well as the discontinuity, the joint surface, joint asperities, and these are the things we should understand. Now let me share you the board. My board is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, Basically, what happens? Suppose uh, this is a rock. Rock asperities. This is the rock asperities. Now we are considering this is a case. Okay, this is basically the rock. So the top layer. This is rock. These are the discontinuity plane. Discontinuity plane. And these are basically the aspects. Now here on this rock, normal pressure is acting. The normal pressure is basically the overburden pressure acting on this rock layer. So this same amount of pressure will also be felt here. This rock asperities will experience here in all this layer. So effectively, when we are considering the resistance of these joints, tau j is basically equal to sigma n dash tan phi of j. Okay. This sigma n basically is more or less equals to the effective normal pressure. And this basically the friction angle. The joint. Now forget about the earlier one. What this phi j actually comprises of. This phi j is basically comprises of inner phi plus I. Yes, but it is this I is find out from the Barton JRC value. So I is found out. Now this particular thing you can ignore for the time. This is for the advanced one. Now think about the new situation. New situation is it is filled with water. New situation filled with water. Now what the situation will differ? Anybody can answer? Can anybody tell me what the situation will differ now? Ajay, tell me.
No,
Okay, I am going to presentation. Now tell me. What the changes of this tau j is equal to sigma n dash n phi j will occurs. Will it remain the same or there will be some alteration of this particular scheme? Anybody can
Sir, I think there will,
tell me.
sir, I think there will be more friction angle, sir.
More friction angle due to the presence of water.
No, sir. When water is removed from the
No,
discontinuity,
no. It Because earlier there is no water. Now I fill the gap with water. Filled with water now. This situation is filled with water. So
Sir.
these are
That
earlier.
sigma dash n will get reduced.
Huh?
It will get reduced.
Which are the amount it will get reduced? What are the parameter? One parameter is this estimated effective normal
Effective
stress
I
is
think
this.
sigma
normal
and
Sigma and
effective
sigma
dash.
and dash
normal
will reduce
pressure will
to that.
also get reduced.
Sigma and dash will get
Mind
reduced. Okay?
reduce.
It will
Yes, sir.
reduce. And what will happen about the
Yes.
phi j?
This friction angle, because of the presence of water, it may also reduce.
It will reduce,
About that,
or
I'm
it
not
will,
clear.
or
But these two will
it
change.
will be high. What it will
It will
happen?
be high. It will
It
be
will be
high, I
high.
think.
So who is telling it will be high?
Me, sir, Ajay Kumar.
Ajay. And what is about the Mansi? What it will happen about the phi j?
But I think friction angle will get reduced or either remain constant.
It is for Mansi. What about the others? What is majority? It will increase or it will reduce? Any opinion? To understand this particular aspect, let me introduce few more concepts so that it will be clear to you. Suppose it would have been better if you do the classroom this experiment. Suppose this is a sandpipe, okay? This is a sandpipe. You can do in your home this experiment to understand this particular. This is a sand pile. You have put some amount of sand in a dish. Okay. Now, a bottle, you have filled the bottle with water, and you are dropping water droplets, dropping water, dropping water here one by one. So, what will happen to this particular profile? It would be flattened or it would be heightened. What will happen?
Friction angle will be reduced and it will be leveled, sir.
Yeah. If you start adding some amount of water, what will happen? These particular grains will flow like this in this direction. This particular flow like this. So effectively, it will be flattened. Flattened. Okay. So it should be reduced. Now it is understood.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It will get reduced. It will get reduced obviously. So this amount of reduction based on the amount of saturation. It is basically proportion to saturation. The concept of saturation, what is that? We'll try to discuss when we'll analyze the numerical methods. Details, the later part of our course. Up to this, it should be understood that it is basically initially it is proportion to saturation, but after some point of time, this reduction is basically very fast. If it is the saturation, five, for the high value of this, so this is the high value. High value will be here. Okay? High value will be here. The high value is How it looks like if the phi is less, or a saturation is high. How it will be plotted? Should be phi. This will be like this. The high saturation, phi is get reduced. So basically, it will be utilize this concept we will use for rainfall simulation. Rainfall time, the phi is basically reduced. Now, the phi n, this amount will be reduced by the hydrostatic pressure. The hydrostatic pressure exerted by this water field. Now, clumsy. Let me clear those. This basically the hydrostatic pressure sigma n dash will be reduced by hydrostatic pressure U. U is the hydrostatic pressure. Hydrostatic pressure. So these basically it will be sigma n minus U by n phi dash, double dash. This double dash is the reduced value of the phi. So this is we understood. Okay. So how this effective stress principle is actually helping us to understand how this situation will change the presence of water. Presence of water. Here we are not considering the water flow from this direction to this direction. We are purely considering water in a static condition, and that static condition water is exerting pressure equal in all directions. Equal in all directions, that is hydrostatic. Okay. So this can be best represented by this. This kind of situation can be best represented by this figure. The figure indicating this is a slope. This slope is having some discontinuity in crisscross direction, parallel to the slope face as well as perpendicular to the slope face. Parallel to the slope face as well as perpendicular to the slope face. And there is a groundwater table. There is a groundwater table. So in this groundwater table, we are considering an unit rock specimen. The rock specimen having intersected with the geological discontinuity. This is the geological discontinuity plane. The bigger figure of this particular section is this. It is representing hydrostatic pressure in all directions, upward direction as well as bottomward direction. And these are the critical joint plane I have already told you. So this is the situation of the groundwater flow will occur, and it will change. Now, if we try to draw the normal stress versus the shear strain diagram, normal stress versus shear strain diagram acting on joint, it would be look like this. This bottom figure B, as the normal stress increases, the shear strength is also get increased. Okay. Initial was sigma n, the normal pressure acting on the joint, and this is the initial shear strength of the rock mass. Now, after intrusion of this water, it is exerting hydrostatic pressure of U. So U amount get reduced. So it is effectively sigma n dash, and also the shear strength also get reduced. S2 amount. Okay. Okay, this reduction is due to the presence of U amount of hydrostatic pressure within the joint, remember. So this is a linear representation of that particular situation. Now taking more Coulomb into picture, more Coulomb consideration into picture, it would be the, if we plot it, it will look like this. Normal stress, initially there is a gradient is high, then later on the gradient is reduced, and it is look like this. So this is the resultant friction angle of this particular test, and phi dash is the inclination angle and gradient of this particular line. Now if you project this particular line in the y-axis, it will intersect at some position, it will intersect in some position, so that basically is giving rise to the effective shear strength of that particular rock. So this is what we represent considering the hydrostatic pressure in a rock mass. So this is the simple formula. We have already used it. We have already used it. S is equal to sigma and tan phi. This is the shear strength in place of tau. We are using it. S. Here, here the shear strength is directly contributing, the normal stress directly contributing the shear strength. Okay? Normal stress is directly contributing the shear strength. Anybody is asking something?
Hello.
You were asking something?
मनसी बोल रहे थे नाम.
Mansi?
वो 7-8 दिन से सोई ही नहीं, 1 मिनट भी रात में नींद नहीं आ रहा था, और आज सुबह मतलब ना सुबह
Can you raise your voice?
ना एक बार तो बहुत रोने लगे, बहुत अकबक लगने लगा और पूरा पसीना वसीना होने लगा, लेफ्ट वाला हाथ भी पूरा ठंडा
No,
होने
sir,
लगा.
she's talking with someone, sir.
मम्मा
Okay.
डॉक्टर आया है, उनका दवा
Mansi, please switch off the microphone.
हाँ 1 घंटा अभी सोई, फिर हल्का सा नींद टूट गया, फिर बोले कि
Now,
लेटी हुई है.
here we observe the shear strength is directly contributed by the normal stress acting across the joint. Okay? Now, if it is so, what will happen actually?
पता नहीं
Situation
क्या
is looks like
आँख का नींद से वो हो रहा है, दिमाग सो
when
नहीं
the normal pressure is acting on the joint, some amount of pressure is taken by the joint. Okay, some amount of pressure taken by the joint. Some amount of pressure is acting on the water also. The pressure acting on the water also. Okay. So here actually, when it is acting on the water is it will exert pressure equal in all directions. That is why U is get reduced from this particular amount sigma and minus U. That is the effective normal stress acting on the joint asperities, on the joint, across the joint. Now, if there is some amount of friction is already observed, if we consider the non-linearity and we are flattened it and taking into assuming it is a linearly intersecting the y-axis, then we will get C dash amount of. Nancy, can you switch off the microphone?
हाँ हाँ वो तो है. नहीं वो ना पता नहीं क्या हो गया है. जब से यहाँ पे बगल में दादी एक्सपायर थी ना, उनका काम वाम खत्म हुआ, फिर तीसरे चौथे दिन से एकदम मम्मी का नींद गायब है तब से.
Cannot mute him. Mute her.
तो सोचते रहती थी. अभी 1 मिनट के लिए भी नहीं सो रही है. कल भी वैसा ही
So
हुआ.
the PDF is visible now. Hari, it is visible.
Ah, sir.
So the modified expression for the S is basically C plus sigma and minus U tan phi dash. Tan phi dash. This phi dash is a new joint friction angle. New joint friction. Now,
पापा
The
बनाते
question may
हैं,
come
मम्मी को भेज देते कल बोल
that
रही
whether we can
थी,
directly measure
बोल रही थी,
the
मम्मी बोली
pressure
थी
via
बोली
piezometer.
नहीं है।
Okay. We can measure the pressure via piezometer,
जनकपुर में मेरी बड़की मैया
or
का
we
वो
can
है, घर है, मायका है, मेरे दादाजी का
sorry.
मामा घर है वहाँ पे, वहाँ पर कुछ काम था पापा।
Now my voice is audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you. Now this PDF is visible.
Yes, sir.
Ah,
Yes.
sir.
Evaluation of groundwater condition
Okay.
is low.
So the situation is now, can we measure the pressure from the field, from the surface? Okay. And if we able to measure, we can re-verify what are the equations we have developed till now. We can re-verify what are the equations till developed now. So one point is basically how to measure that pressure is basically through piezometer. This piezometer is a concept. It is basically measuring the water pressure, or also it is basically giving some amount of voltage difference, okay, or it is actually giving some flow difference in the terms of electrical flow difference, and then it is can be correlated to a net what is the pressure difference. So this piezometer acting, different kind of piezometer acting in different principles, but final outcome is to measure the hydraulic head at that particular location. So this piezometer is very fine kind of and very fine category of instrument that is used for measuring the hydraulic head at that particular location that we can install in different position the mine. So that basically is required for a situation in mine where groundwater flow is changing in different time sequence, and we are observing this changing is very haphazard. So to estimate what the precise kind of change is occurring in that particular situation. So in different observation well, we can install this piezometer, and in time sequence we will measure today at 9 a.m., today at 5 p.m., and tomorrow again 9 a.m. and again 5 p.m. What are the differences it is observed in different observation well? Based on that, we can estimate in this locality what is the pattern of hydraulic flow. What is the pattern of hydraulic flow? So that will help us to estimate and will give us the confidence. Yes, this is the amount of groundwater flow, net groundwater flow, and if this groundwater flow is coming into the mine open pit, so how much amount of water will come, that we estimate, and based on that we can design the pump capacity. Based on that we can design the pump capacity to evacuate out that amount of. So this piezometer basically convert the pressure to some more readable measurement in the form of output, elevation head, or electrical voltage, electrical current, based on different kind of systems we follow. And here we have four kind of tests. Four kind of hydraulic conductivity test can be conducted. This is been briefed by Bureau of Reclamation 1995 work. It is one is pressure test, constant head gravity test, falling head gravity test, and the slug or bell test. Okay. So these kind of test is basically giving us an estimation about the groundwater flow. Remember, whenever we are measuring the groundwater flow or groundwater head in a pressure well, we should seal that well very well. We should seal that very well, pressure head very well, so that other natural cause, suppose this borehole is intersected with some joint plane. Okay, so due to the joint plane, flow will occur. So we have to seal it perfectly so that we can estimate about the groundwater characteristics, aquifer characteristics at that location. So we should take those precautions when we are installing an observation soil. So these are the things. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Four kind of measurement technique is followed widely in the mines. This is after codes 1977. Here summarize 4 kind of observation, that is open tube standpipe system, closed tube hydraulic system, mechanical diaphragm or pneumatic or hydraulic pneumometer, or electrical transducer. Electrical transducer. So out of these 4, electrical and the mechanical diaphragm is the most accurate one, but electrical diaphragm is more user friendly in the context of remote monitoring of the hydraulic. Now let's consider the open tube system. Open tube system is basically a standpipe is installed in a location. Standpipe is installed in a location, and this kind of open tube or standpipe will work well only and only when there is a relatively high volume of water is observed. High volume of water is observed. Okay. If there is a flow is very small and the head difference is negligible, then this kind of open tube standpipe system will not give us a good result about the hydraulic flow condition. So for this kind of system to work, you need a high volume of water flow. For a high volume of water flow, this kind of system is very good. Most importantly, it is very cheap and simple, because what we'll do in open pipe standpipe, we pour a rod kind of thing or a wire kind of thing, and we measure the length of the rod where it is touching. So we will measure first at 5 mm, 9 mm, and then 5 mm. What is the difference? Remember, we can only measure in those cases when there is a change is really high. Second is closed tube. It is for a medium to low flow. We use for a mercury manometer. Use it relatively also cheap, but it is not favorable in mining condition that we generally actually chase everywhere in the mine. Second and third and fourth, mechanical diaphragm and the electrical transducer is most efficient for predicting the hydraulic head difference in different mining conditions. So this mechanical diaphragm is like this. So you in the this basically works on this principle. Mechanical diaphragm is a kind of a reverse cone. You can do this experiment in your home. Okay, you can do this experiment in your home. This is a funnel. Okay, this is a funnel. Okay. Now, if you fit in this funnel a balloon, fit a balloon in this funnel. You fit a balloon in this funnel very tightly around this. Okay. Now, if there is a water, there is a water. There is a water. Now you are inserting this funnel here. So what will happen? Water will exert pressure on this balloon membrane. Water will exert pressure on this balloon membrane. It is understood? Hari, it is understood?
Sir, no, sir.
Okay. This is a funnel. This is a funnel. This funnel is we used earlier to pour fluid in different vehicles. So this funnel is reverse, and in the top of this funnel, I have fitted a balloon. Balloon, you know, this has been amused for children amused by pouring some air, and it is expanded. You know that balloon?
Hi, sir.
Okay. So this balloon is fitted in this funnel. Okay, it is tightly fitted in this funnel. Now this funnel is immersed in a tub of water. So water will exert pressure on this funnel.
Yes, sir.
Water will exert pressure on this funnel. So if the membrane is very sensitive, then due to this pressure, this membrane will deform, and this will generate some energy. So this energy difference is calibrated to head difference finally. Okay? There is a calibration system for a mechanical diaphragm. Okay, this is very accurate, very accurate. For electrical transducer also, it has been if you test it in a surface with this interchange of the water, It is also a change of the hydraulic head. It is generating some current, I current difference, voltage, current difference. Okay. Due to this change of I, del I is recalibrated to head difference. Okay. So these are the thing is working principle of this transducer and the diaphragm, mechanical diaphragm. It is understood? It
Yes,
is
sir.
understood?
Yes, sir.
So the additional advantage for the electrical transducer is it is fitted with wire, and this wire, through this wire, you can observe and you can monitor from the remote location your office. Your office. From the remote location, it is installed, and you can observe from your office through via cable, or nowadays the wireless system is also available. And this is what now the advancement is going on in this direction. Here, today we will elaborate the Horsley analysis for measuring the hydraulic conductivity for homogeneous, isotropic, and infinite. The principle laid down by Horsley piezometer test is suggested that if in a borehole, if we pump out some water, initial head was this capital H. Okay, initial head was capital H. By some mechanism, I have removed some water, and the water head coming at H0. This is before the starting of the experiment. Okay? Before the starting of the experiment. Now, once head is reached to H0, now clock down, countdown start of this experiment. Countdown started at t is equal to 0. So it is increasing. So in time, if it is a aquifer and there is a flow is observed, what will happen? On the nearby aquifer, because head difference is created. It was initially in equilibrium condition. Now this is due to the pull out of the water. Head difference is created. Head difference is now observed. Due to this head difference, from the nearby aquifer, water flow will start to pour it to make it in equilibrium situation. So the aquifer will try to infiltrate here, and the water head will increase. Slowly and slowly. And finally, this flow will continue till it is reached to H, or maybe less than that, and overall height is less than H, capital H. Okay. So up to this, flow will occur. Up to this, head difference was there. After reaching here, flow will not occur. So before that, at this particular moment of time, head difference is observed H. Head is observed as H. So in del time, del t, dt and plus t, this amount of head difference is observed dh. So he tries to measure in time sequence how much time is required to fill this particular head up to this point. Okay. He plotted in time in x scale, and he plotted the head difference ratio in y scale, and he is observed gradually with time how this ratio looks like. So the principle laid down by the Horsley experiment is that if I pull out some water in a borehole well, the nearby aquifer will try to fill it in time sequence. I will try to measure that time, how much time is required to fill the gap from H0 to H. So the del H or H dash amount is recovered in 1 hour. H dash amount is recovered in 1 hour. So there is a relationship being laid out by Horsley. This is an empirical relationship. Based on that, we can calculate the amount of flow in that particular borehole. So initial head was H, and it was pumped out to H is equal to H0. Now countdown started from T is equal to 0. then how much time it is required to fill this gap, that is the T. So QT, quantity of flow in time T, is equal to this pi r square del H del T, pi r square del H del T. So R is the radius of this boron, del H del T is the head gradient in time sequence. So this can be rewritten as Fk into H, capital H minus H. This is the empirical relation described by Horsley experiment, and this experiment is very useful for measuring in-field hydraulic conductivity in the aquifer, in-field aquifer. So this is all about today's lecture. Now I request all of you to go through it and raise your questions so that one by one we can give answer to those questions. Now, Ajay.
Nice. It's clear, sir. Okay.
Ashish. Ashish,
Yes, sir.
now, do you
It's
have any
clear.
question?
No, sir. Now it's not.
Gabriel?
It's fine, sir. No problem.
Okay. Haritharun?
No questions.
Mansi?
No question, sir. It's clear. Thank you, sir.
Natavar?
No question, sir.
Sanjeev?
Clear, sir.
Okay. So, 1 minute.